Dave here a little bit. He's our assistant general manager. Came, end of January, I think, Mark, somewhere in there. Came to us from Detroit. So he's going to be up here with me. Just kind of give you guys a rundown of what happened today. Unlike the previous 2 days, we no trades today. So no moving around. We had some opportunities to do that. Some things came up. Decided it just didn't make sense, wasn't the right thing to do today. So we stood pat at each of our picks. So the first 3 picks of the day were a result of the Detroit trade last night. So the fourth at 122, we took John Gaines, a guard from UCLA, guard he's played multiple positions. He's a guy that we did a lot of work on in the fall, and then he showed up at the East-West game in Las Vegas and had a chance to play some center there like he did at UCLA as well. So we've kept a good conversation going with him from Vegas until through the combine and the pre-draft process. Then at 139, we took a quarterback at the University of Houston, Clayton Tune. Was a Senior Bowl participant, actually was coached by our quarterback coach now, Izzy Woolfolk. So Izzy had a relationship with him, and big, productive, athletic quarterback that we were excited to add. And then at 168, Owen Papo, I better get that pronunciation right. I said both. I got to figure that. Papo. Sorry, Owen. So Owen was actually it was interesting. Owen was one of the 2 guys that came for our first 30 visit. So he was our guinea pig for our new process that we were doing with 30 visits this year. Made a really good impression on us. Another guy that we were excited to add, linebacker, good speed, physical player. And then the 2 picks that we originally had, going into the day before the Detroit pick, at the top of the 6th round, number 180, Keitrell Clark from Louisville. Another guy that we had a chance to bring in here on a 30 visit. Big personality. He's a fun guy to talk to. He was having a heck of a party, draft day party. So when we called him, he was fired up, and we're anxious to get him here. And then the last pick of the day, number 213, Dante Stills, another guy who was in Las Vegas at the East-West game, defensive lineman, has been highly productive in his career, brings some inside-outside pass rush. So, we were excited to add another line of scrimmage player. So, that's where we ended up. We've been cranking away here since the draft ended on undrafted free agency. The guys are upstairs. Trying to get some things ironed out with that. So that's always another part of the draft that sometimes goes unnoticed, but it's an area that we put a lot of work into this year, and we're intentional with the guys that we were adding. And so we're excited to get a few new guys in here to add to our rookie class. So that's where we're at. We're excited about the last 3 days. We think we added some good players. We came into the draft with 8 picks. Came in the draft with 8 picks, and we ended up with 9. And we're excited about those guys that we added, and excited about not only the football players, but the people that we added to the building. So with that, see what you guys got. Go ahead.
It seems like more guys today were experienced like 4 or 5 years. Is that something you were looking for? And the flip side of that is, what's the benefit for them having more experience?
No, I wouldn't say that was something we were looking for. I think it just kind of happened that way. It's really a case. Dave and I talked about that this morning. You get to the 3rd day of the draft. It's not necessarily you're looking to fill a specific need. We're just looking for good players. So we think we did that, and we like the person, the makeup of the guys that we added, and we were happy with the guys we found.
You guys just talked a lot about versatility among the players you have too. You feel like you got a lot of that with some of the guys that you picked?
Yeah, I think so. I think we do. I mean, whether it's position versatility is always going to be something that we value. So whether it's John Gaines, who's played multiple positions, Keitrell Clark has played inside, outside. Dante Stills has played multiple places along the line of scrimmage. So yeah, those are things that it's one of those. Goes back to the old saying, the more you can do. It applies to the football team too. So definitely looking forward to adding those guys.
Dave, when you guys have all kind of come together as a new group from other places. How did that mesh together? Was it fairly smooth once you guys got started?
Yeah, I think it's fairly smooth because I've known Monti for 20-plus years. We talk ball probably once a week as friends. We have a close friendship along with a professional respect, and so it's very easy for us to work together because it feels like we've always been working together. I know a lot of the guys on the staff from the road, have personal relationships with those guys. It's probably a lot harder on them to learn the way we talk, the system that they have to. It's our system getting imposed on them, not the other way around. So it's harder on those guys, but they've been great. I mean, they've all been willing to learn. They've all been willing to try new things, and that's really how you grow in this business, is learning different systems. So it's been a great process. It's really the scouts and the people adapting to us are the ones doing most of the work.
This is for both of you guys, because I'm curious about both your positions on this. You guys had a lot of trades. There's a lot of moving parts there. In general, how does that work? I mean, are you saying I'm looking? Are you saying I'm looking? Are you waiting for phone calls? How do you guys get all that honed into a trade?
Well, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you got it.
Just like that. That's no. I think leading up to it, you're always running through scenarios. We're in his office. Hey, what if this happens? What if this happens? All right, if we go back to here, let's try and get up to here. And then some of it is just spontaneous phone rings. Hey, what's up? Guys call him. We'll give you this to move here. Hey, how strongly do we feel about this player? Do we think this player will be still there if we take this trade and drop back? So some of the spur of the moment. And there's a couple guys in the rooms handling the mechanics of it. Charlie Atkins and Rob Kissel did a really good job punching stuff into the computer, using the analytics part of it, plus just a pen and a board, writing it up. How does that look compared to this? So it's really not as complicated as it seems sometimes. And then Monti did an excellent job of just kind of staying calm in the moment and making the best decisions.
It seems day 3 there was a trend. Well, you football character throughout, but day 3 in particular was high to elite athletic characteristics for all of your picks this time. Was that a focus on day 3 specifically?
No, I wouldn't say that was a specific focus. I think it really, again, we it's a scoutism we say, but you follow the board and you wait and you see, and the guys that were on our board were guys that we were comfortable with as players, as people, and then how, as far as how they measured athletically, I don't really know about that. I just know that we were comfortable with them as players, and then as the people to add to the program as well.
How about you personally, Monti? I mean, this is your first draft, with this franchise, with this position, and you were pretty active and kind of set up this franchise even next year with so many draft picks, especially in the early rounds.
Well, I mean, I sound like a broken record, but I mean, this has been an unbelievable 3 days for me personally. Just to be a part of this team and be a part of this group of individuals in that room. I mean, it was exciting, it was intense, and it's, can't wait to get the guys out on the field and have it be rewarding. As far as adding the picks, again, I don't think that's something that we necessarily set out to do. I think it was a product of just how the draft went. I've been a part of drafts where there's been no trades, and then like today, I mean, we had multiple chances to make trades, and today didn't make sense. On Thursday and Friday, they made sense, and so we did them. Today, the chances that we had to move around, just really didn't make sense for us according to where our board was. So, I think I'm always of the mindset that if the opportunity presents itself, we're going to do it. But today we felt comfortable taking the players where we took them.
You got a chance to kind of just, be like, I did it, it's over.
As soon as I walk out of this door, I'm going to do that.
What did you guys like about John at center, and kind of what did you see from him at the game?
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Well, I think, he played some center back on the UCLA film too, and then seeing it in an all-star game, it's not necessarily better competition, but just the ability to do that, then the pro day, his intellect in meeting with our coaches, meeting with our scouts. Clearly, mentally, he can handle it. He's one of the sharper guys we dealt with all spring. So anytime you get a guy who's just a guard or just a center, you guys see how many injuries you get. Guys get shuffled around. So having a guy who's done it, not just projected to do it, so you can look at some tape and see that, that's a very valuable skill set. So we feel like John can contribute at 2 positions.
Where do you guys see yourselves at center right now? Obviously, he can play it, but he's not a guy that's done it for a ton. So do you guys feel like you're still kind of looking there, or can you make it work with what you have?
Yeah, I think, Darren, as it applies to every position, I think we're constantly looking everywhere. I don't think the process of the team building is not done. It's going to continue here because, with 31 other teams adding a bunch of new players, there's going to be another wave of players available here in the next few days. So as it pertains to the center position, I would say this. I would say really not even the center position. I'd say all along the offensive line. All those guys up front are going to play multiple positions. Like they're going to play left tackle, right tackle. They're going to play tackle to guard to tackle, center to guard. Like it's hard. If you're like Dave just alluded to, if you're a one position player, you better do that one position really well. So all those guys are going to work everywhere. So not just the center position. I'd say it's all across the board.
You mentioned, did you talk to Coach Gannon this week? Like, what kind of input did he have? What has he said about the haul you've gotten so far? Constant
communication. He sat, I sat, to the right of me was Michael, to the left of me was Dave, and to the right of Michael was JG. And so, it was constant communication. It gets to a point where, I don't know, we're 10 picks out, and you look at the board and hey, I think it's going to be one of these two guys. Okay, JG, what do you think between these two guys? And I learned something today. My colleague here, he's got a superstition that you can't say the player's name up on the board. He thinks that jinxes him if we say if we say Keitrell Clark's name. He thinks that's going to get him to go before we take him. But so I'd say that's a constant communication between all of us. There's times where we have three guys that we're considering. There's times that we have two guys that we're considering, and there's sometimes that we're holding our breath for 10 picks that one guy that we're looking at is going to stay there. So that's a constant communication between us. And there's times when, hey JG, call this coach and ask him, just make sure where they are at on this guy. So that was constant communication that started Thursday and carried on through today as well.
Does that happen before that you're superstitious with that? That's happened in the past?
Yeah, I've seen that happen like multiple times in a draft room where you start talking about the player and then boom, he comes right off the board. So then it's kind of just like, don't say his name.
Analytics in terms of trades, a lot of that with the value of the picks. We all hear all the time about this draft chart or that one. I don't know if there really is one anymore, but is that a big part of what analytics does?
Yeah, I mean, the NFL draft is about value, so there's different ways to measure it. Those guys have, a trade calculator that puts in their own charts, universal trade charts, Jimmy Johnson, like there's a ton of charts. Most teams do the exact same thing. We look at that value, but it's also just the sense of, are we willing to do this? Are we willing to take the risk of losing said player, and what are we going to gain? Is it two guys from this group if we do this? So there's a human instinct to it, too, kind of the scout intuition part of it. But, yeah, we do balance that with an analytics portion of it. Yeah, absolutely.
I know there's a deadline coming up. Have you guys made any decision yet on Isaiah Simmons?
Yeah, we have a few more days on that, Darren, and we'll, we got to work through that. We're going to catch our breath here a little bit, and then we'll have a decision on that next week. But, yeah, we'll get to that.
You mentioned a new process with the 30 visits. Was there anything unique about that, or just a different way of doing things? Or?
Yeah, I think what we tried to do is we tried to at the biggest thing that we were trying to do in the 30 visits, we were trying to get a feel for who the players were as a person, and then what it would be like going to work with them every day. And so, we tried to put them through the paces and tried to simulate the best that we could a normal day of work for them. And tried to get them in front of as many people as we could to get different impressions from people in different parts of the football operations. And really at the end, just get everyone's overall feel on if that player would be a good fit for us. And if there was reservations, what exactly were those reservations going to be? And so, I don't think it was anything, there was no secret sauce to it other than, just us trying to get a feel for who they were as people.
Now that we're a couple days removed from drafting Harris, it seems like he's really hit on Kyler. What's that like to see from your standpoint of, the guy that you're going to entrust a lot of Kyler's safety with in the next few years hitting on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's unique what we're going to ask this group of 9 players that we just hit. I mean, we're picking them up out of some place they've been for 3, 4, 5 years, and now we're going to drop them into a new place to live and a new team and learn a new way of doing things. So anytime those veteran players can reach out and help that transition and help a player hey, this is what it's going to be like, and this is what you got to do, or things you should avoid. I think that's always beneficial. So the fact that, not only Kyler, but there was multiple players of ours that were around and got to meet Paris, and I know I've had our players reach out to me asking for phone numbers of the guys that we drafted. I think that's outstanding. Just the more that we can get our team and build some cohesion, I think that's awesome.
Were there any surprises with where you got some of the guys today, or I guess over the whole draft?
Surprises. I mean, I think really there's 31 other teams, and then the boards look 31 different ways, I'm sure. So, I don't know really if surprise is the right word. I think it's really more just to be prepared. And sure, there's guys that we would see and that we'd like to add, but in reality, you can't get them all. You're not going to be able to get them all. And so it's just having a plan, being prepared, and when that opportunity comes, when the clock hits us, that just being ready to make a move.
What's your timeline now in implementing your process completely? Is it something you do immediately? Do you give guys a little bit of break? What's that going to be?
Yeah, so to tell you the truth, our preparation on the 2024 draft has already begun. Our scouts have already turned their attention to that, and we will continue to push through that. I would say some of our other processes that we're going to do will the way that we talk about players, the way that we write about players, the scale that we use to grade players. I think that's going to be all rolled out here in the next month and a half. And then there's some things that we do that you just really can't. You can plan for them, but until you actually go through them, it's hard. You can tell somebody till you're blue in the face, but until they do it, so whether it pertains to preseason scouting or advanced scouting once the season hits, and then our December process for college meeting, I think all of that we can plan for it, but until we actually do it, it's going to take a cycle before everybody kind of feels the process.
Maybe the most important question is, whose dog was that?
That was Michael's dog. That was Michael's dog up there, and it was great when everybody would get excited, or when we would clap at the pick, she would get excited and start barking. And so I don't know if she liked the pick or didn't like the pick. It's hard to say, but that was a good addition for Saturday of the draft. So that was only today. Yeah, it was a good addition. So.
Was there any particular player, like we see on TV just some of the reaction to the draft room? Was there any player for whom the reaction there was a little more fired up than others?
I would say Keitrell Clark was having one hell of a party today. Yeah, I think he was excited. I mean, there was some guys got real emotional. It was really cool to hear. Really cool to hear. Just had to be just a lifelong dream for these guys to be with their family and their friends, and to get our phone call, but then, I can only imagine what it feels like for them to be sitting at home on their couch and to see their name come across. I mean, that's got to be a really cool experience. And so just for them to share that moment with their family and friends, that's really cool. So.
And how about for you to be the one delivering that music?
Yeah. That's not something I take lightly, and it's cool for me to be able to share that with them, and for our first draft class as a group, I think this group will always kind of hold a special place for me, certainly, and it was some cool moments. I was happy to be a part of them.
Let's follow on that real quick. Some of the phone calls the Cardinals put out, it caught you. It sounded like a few times saying, "Hey guys, make sure you thank the people around you." You said that. Why was that important for you to point out to those guys and make sure to thank everyone that helped them get to this point?
Yeah, and I can't take credit for that. I think that's something that I learned from Coach Vrabel. That's something Coach Vrabel did, and I took from him, and I thought it was a really cool way of him to recognize the importance of the situation. And all of us have people in our lives that have helped us get to where we are, and I think it's everybody that we talk to was with family or with friends, and just the importance of recognizing the opportunity and recognizing the moment, just making sure that guys call their attention to that. And, I again, thank Coach Vrabel for that, showing me that, and I thought that was really cool and something I liked that I was able to bring here.
Could you, either one of you, talk about Clayton Tune a little more and what you see for him coming in here with a crowded room?
Well, I mean, I think what I've said a couple times this week is we're always going to look to add competition to the roster. Okay, so, it doesn't matter what position that's at. We're going to constantly look to add competition. And, Clayton was a highly productive player at the University of Houston. He's got good size. He's got good speed. He throws the ball well. So we'll see how it goes. It's a crowded room, but, I think there's with, Kyler's working back from his injury. So we'll see how it goes. I think competition will bring out the best in everybody, and we'll see where that ends up.
Monty, thank you. Dave,
guys, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thanks, guys. Yeah, nice job, guys. Yeah, great. Awesome, guys. Thanks for your patience this weekend. Yeah.
Hey, Richard, how's it going, man?
All right, guys.